Hello, replay viewers. Um, Here we have Gujarat Indian restaurant. As you can see, we serve 100% pure vegetarian, authentic food. And I have put in my order. I had help from the owner. And we're just going to do a quick gleaning of this really nicely appointed menu. It's really simple to go through. There's a lot to choose from, and as you kind of hear sometimes, vegetarian seeking diners sometimes have a challenge finding, eateries that cater to their strict dietary requirements. And I think, oh, Javel, how are you? I'm so happy to see you. I wanted to ask you what region again of India you are from, because maybe I'll ask the owner where he's from. I don't know. He's a very nice gentleman. And I haven't seen you in, I think, the first month when I first started going live. And I think I was on Twitter. And thank you for actually reminding me of Twitter. Okay. Oh, Tamil Nadu. I hope I pronounced that properly. So that's the region you're from, Tamil Nadu. So I guess that is a region that is Tamil. So there we are. So hold on a second, Jay. Sorry about the closeness. I am mic'd up, okay? And the owner's standing right there. And I've never met his brother, but that's okay. Maybe we'll meet him, maybe we won't. Doesn't matter. It's my second time here. And I'm kind of happy to see you. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to send out a tweet to Twitter. But I have to explain where we're doing, and unfortunately it's cutting out the screen, and it means that you're going to watch me type. I'm going to go authentic, authentic, Indian. Thank you for bearing with me. Indian vegetarian cuisine. I hope that's the proper wording. Because it's specific, and then we are in Saigon, so that's also like a little bit exotic. So why are you going to Saigon and eating Indian cuisine? Well, why not? Right? And I can't see your answer, but I'm almost done doing my tweet. So there we go. Okay. So at least now, maybe our Twitter friends. Okay, hold on a second. So, Tamil Nadu, and then Nadu. Okay, so there's a Nadu as opposed to Nadu. So you don't cut it off that short. You lengthen the vowels. I'm getting a clue. Thank you. I still remember 2 years ago, if 2020 was 2 years ago, I can't always do the proper math. If 2020 was 3 years ago or if it was 2 years ago, and you know what? It doesn't really matter. It was within the 2 or 3 year period. You were very helpful in the Cham Museum in Da Nang. Guess what? I'm flying to Da Nang tomorrow. I don't think I want to go to the Cham Museum because we've already done that. But there are a number of other things we can do in Da Nang. And we have yet to decide as to... all right. So it's from using my goldfish memory, we're going with garlic naan. We're going with a curry masala, all vegetarian. We're going with Singapore noodles, vegetarian, and we're going with kichadai, which is masala kichadai, I think is what was chosen for me. Oh, is that what you're suggesting, or that's what you think I got? Garlic chapati. Well, it's a bit late now because my order has been put in. So I'm having. Me and the owner had decided, because there was a lot of breads. Kechidi. Oh, the pronunciation. Thank you. So yes. Yes, we decided to go with the garlic naan, based on what my order was. How have you been? Are things busy? Is it really hot? Do you work in air-conditioned conditions, or it depends? Try butter naan with masala. Well, okay, Jay. I've already ordered the naan. I'm having noodles. I'm having rice, and I'm having one naan. I can't eat two, and it's garlic. But I am having a butter masala, so I can have my garlic naan and my butter masala. And maybe that's like butter naan, I don't know. But on another time, yes, sure. I've had butter naan before. Okay, 26 degrees is actually quite reasonable. You like aloo palak. Okay. Well, here they have aloe parta. And I don't see anything else that says aloe or aloo. But thank you for letting me know. So it'll be in the archives. Oh, Stephen, I'm sorry, Stephen. I have to do a high contrast thing, and I thought it was just Jay that was in here because I don't see bubbles, and I'm used to seeing bubbles, and I can get control. But I realize that now I have to pay attention to the name, and if it's against the white wall, it's harder to read, and when it's against my shirt, it's easier to read. Thank you, Stephen, for coming in. I'm glad that you can also participate in our little discussion here. So, I have a lime soda, and it's not sweetened at all. It's a little on the salty side, but not overly salted. It's spinach. Aloo is potato. I see. Thank you, JFL. You know exactly when to illuminate. Yeah, it's refreshing because I need something to clean my palate. But I'm thinking I want to change angles because the lighting there is harsh, and I have all this big table. And I have these electronics, so I don't want the food and my broadcasting to interfere with anything. I know, Stephen. I agree. It is the bad straw. I think they have a website. I will show you. This is what I'll do for you, Stephen. I will show you the website. It's like a napkin in a printed thing of the restaurant. And if you word it nicely and you use your magnificent powers of persuasion in an email, address it to the owners, and state your case. That's all I can suggest you can do, because I'm aware of it, and I need to drink my drink. I will use the straw, and I really hate the idea that a sea turtle may suffer if that straw isn't properly processed. Well, Jay, yes. Jay, it's always nice seeing you, and I don't have very many Indian friends as such. And even if you come in every a couple of years, or like this year you came about a month and a half ago, it's always a pleasure. So I want to thank you for it. It's always a pleasure seeing you, and I'm going to enjoy my meal. I know this because I've eaten here before. But I wish you well, and hopefully when you do have time, we can we can touch base, and we can go in a little deeper about things, about nothing. Don't be sorry. I get it. It's okay. And again, thanks for coming in. So that leaves just Stephen, myself, and the non-Greta approved straw. Stephen, I need to hydrate. I realize that maybe 80% of my quad issues might have been that I just haven't figured out the how to replenish the water that intake that I need to take here in Southeast Asia, and I paid for it dearly. But luckily, I seem to be on the mend, and hydrating on a regular basis is key. So I cannot mess with that. There's no in between ground. So I hope you understand, and you won't say there's a special place in hell for you. And I've got food coming. Oh, it's my Singapore noodles. Excellent. Okay. So as I told you, I think this is a good idea. I think there's a website. Yes, it's www. There it is. I'll hold it still, and you can do a screenshot. And if you word it in a way that is persuasive, I've had like eye contact and like conversations with the owners here, and they're very mindful people. And they don't look like they're like cutting corners, so it might just be something they didn't get around to doing it, and that little bit of extra effort could push it over the edge. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not, my conscience is okay because I'm on vacation. It's backwards, I know. Oh, okay. Hello, I will fix that for you. Thank you. A matter of fact. Duh. I'm sorry. I should have known this. Duh. Let me angle it. There we go. They even have a phone number. So, Stephen, I think I held it still enough for you. If there's anything else you want to drop on me, I could use a giggle much better. Okay, good, because now we're going to put you on stilts. I mean the camera, that is. And maybe we're going to use the little napkin box. The napkin box. And we're going to kind of hover, like the way that vultures hover over their, their finds. But let's see. Okay, so this is my. Oh my God. Okay, so now I'm getting all kinds of food coming in. So this is the masala, and it smells divine. It smells divine. So I guess what I need to do is just get a bead eye on my plate, and then hopefully we can do that. So why don't we give the Singapore noodles. Okay, so there's a lot of onions. All right. So I assume they're like stir fried or something to that effect. So let's give this a good taste. Mmm. So it's a mild curry. Mmm. Wow, and it's kind of buttery too. And it has carrots. It has carrots and green peppers. And I believe I have a rice, a kadai masala. It's delicious. The Chinese noodle place, what part of India are Singapore noodles from? They're not. Singapore is part of, isn't it Indonesia or is it Malaysia? But there is an influence, right? An Indian influence in Malaysia. So, you know, people travel and they bring their cuisine with them. It's like a fusion of Chinese and Malaysian and Indo. So if I was reading that, it almost looked like a sarcastic question that didn't have an answer to it, because no part of India, it's Singaporean, but I guess it is internationally known. All right, I order Singapore noodles in Montreal, and there's no part of Montreal that is in Singapore noodles. But I can order them in Montreal, and the ones I order in Montreal come with egg that comes in a stir-fried wok with shrimp and chicken. And in this case, because it's a vegetarian, there is no shrimp, no chicken, and no egg. And we're in Saigon. So, yummy, yummy, yummy. And they're really fine noodles. I love these thin noodles, because they really, when you need to carbohydrate, you need to load up on carbohydrates. This is a really good, like a honking plate of curried noodles like this. It's delicious. So, you know, have you ever been to, wait a minute, you're Schenectady, if my memory serves, and maybe I'll even get to pronounce it correctly. Have you ever been to Potsdam, New York? It's like a few kilometers down from Messina, which is close to the Ontario border with New York. So you get Messina, and then you get into Potsdam, which is like a college town. There's like a college there, or a couple of colleges. And that's the main industry there. And I think Potsdam used to be known for, you have not. Okay, well, I have, and so the closest Canadian town is called Cornwall. It's right near the border. It's, you know, Ottawa is the capital of Canada, And then if you head towards the border, the next city you hit is called Cornwall. And when you cross the border, the next city you hit is Messina, New York. And then if you keep going another 60 miles or so, you hit Potsdam, New York. So I remember heading towards Potsdam, but we stopped off in Messina, and there was this roadside Thai restaurant, and this is about 1987. So Thai food only started getting on people's radars. And I've got a curry. I've got a curry that just came. You can see it here. And it's steaming. It looks good. Okay, elbows on table. So the thing is that anything exotic and spicy and yummy is like, and in New York State, you say, yes, please. So we stopped off, and I remember ordering something like lemongrass chicken, like Thai, and it was amazing. You've been to Lake Placid? Yeah, that's a little further east of where I'm talking about, because New York State's really big, and like I think the furthest west is Buffalo, and you're getting closer to Toronto, but not that far. So there. But so obviously somebody way back in the 80s said, you know what, we're gonna open a restaurant and we're gonna serve authentic Thai cuisine, and they will come. And I bet you they did. Oh, I love these noodles. I really did need to load up on carbohydrates. So have I. And I only have a few stories because I think I've only been twice. I was staying in a really beautiful home. I think the streets were Brunswick and Bloor, so that's like really downtown, and in like an established like neighborhood. And now they're overpriced. But in the late 80s, a lot of students, like they converted this home into like an 11-bedroom dormitory. So they could pay the rent because they were 11, and they had each their own room. And so they had a communal kitchen. And so our host said, okay, he wanted to prepare us a special meal, but we had to go to the Kensington Market and get ourselves a fresh chicken. So that's where you go to the market and you see these live chickens, you point a finger, and it kind of disappears down a hole. It comes back without any feathers and without a head, and the giblets in a bag, and off you go. And it's fresh. So then we went to prepare to cook it and stuff. And I think he also made something with a chickpea flour, which is interesting. It's like Caribbean. So I need to try my masala, because my noodles have gotten, they're still a little warm, but I don't want to stuff myself too much. And this is what I learned about naan, is that naan is traditionally a utensil. And so when you have like a gravy or a stew, you basically, put some in your naan so your fingers don't get all covered in gravy, and that's what you eat. Oh wow. So that was one of my Toronto stories, and there was this really interesting store called Ed's. He had like this huge marquee, and Honest Ed's, I think, was his name, and it was really like a funky store to go into. Like, especially if you're a student and you needed a fan or a side table. or something like that. It was like really like very strange like billboards on the outside of the building, and you could kind of see it for blocks away. So, oh yeah, and I remember thinking how strange that they had two different types of beer or liquor commissions. There was like the wine store and the spirits store, and there was a beer store. You couldn't buy beer in a grocery or a convenience store in the late 80s because Ontario was like a kind of like a granny state. You know, they like to really helicopter people's behavior, and not like with the province where I came from, Quebec, where you could get beer in a corner store. You didn't have to go to like a government appointed store. So I thought, how funny. And the other thing that was very noticeable was that Torontonians would wait for green lights to actually cross the street, whereas Montrealers are too cool. If there's no traffic and the light is red, doesn't matter, they'll cross it. And there's no consequences, or traditionally there's no official consequences until maybe like some summer they decide to enforce it, but it never gone anywhere. Turns out that there aren't that many traffic fatalities in Montreal. There are the elderly occasionally that will get hit by a car because they're too slow on a crosswalk. But other than that, I think the fatalities now are people on bicycles, and it's generally trucks in their blind spot that turn a corner and they don't see a bike, you know, alongside them. And we've had a number of bicyclists killed like that. Very sad. By the way, this vegetarian masala, I think it's tofu. It's delicious. And then the naan's really good too. So I need to try this because I'm curious, and it's very hot, so I'm gonna be careful. So by the way, Stephen, are you still there? Just checking. So I don't want to burn my tongue, so I'm going to let it cool down a bit. Yes and no. I mean, not, I've had spicier, like, you know, where it tingles in your stomach. And that generally gets like my forehead and around my eyes and my T-zone, you know, like the T that's on your face, like you're up between your eyebrows and your nose. That breaks out in like a sweat or perspiration. So that's what I know. Whether it's Thai food or Vietnamese or Indian or Chinese. Oh my God. Or Mexican. Wow. You know what? This is really healthy food. This is really healthy food. I could, you know, if you say, well, you're not eating any meat for a year, if it comes out of the kitchen tasting like this, I don't care. Because I guess they have like beans and, hey Chris, how's it going? We're having a delicious Indian dinner at the Gujarat. It's the second time here, and I've had help with the owner to choose what I'm having for dinner tonight. And Stephen, which you know, you've been in rooms with him often, is in the room, and he's been keeping company. You know what? We've been talking about Toronto, and I think you've already heard my Toronto story, so you know what? I don't get to repeat myself. Thank God. We can try and come up with new material. Chris, it's freaking good. Oh my god. I just had some vegetarian Singapore noodles. So shredded onions and carrots and green, peppers and red peppers, and very light on the curry, not heavy spice. So Stephen was asking, is it spicy? Yes, it's appointed. It's flavor appointed. That's what I would call spicy, in the sense that the spices are there, but they're measured, they're balanced, there's a mind behind it that knows what they're doing. And, push and pull. There's a lot of factors that work into. And this is garlic naan, which was recommended for my choice tonight. Good choice. This is masala. And I think it's tofu. And you know what? I told you, if I haven't, you're going to hear it again. You know, if tofu is properly prepared, it can be good. Like, it'll take on the flavor of what you're doing, and if it's the right size, it'll have the texture of something that says, yeah, I'm eating some soy stuff, or I'm eating something interesting. Tonight I'm eating something interesting. There's a creaminess to this. And then there's this, I think there's potatoes in here, and little lentils or some kind of beans. Yes, that's right. Chris is tagging. Okay, so let's have a conversation about something that happened yesterday. Because there's this peculiar fellow, and he won't mind me using the word peculiar because he's probably got better words to describe himself than peculiar. I'm being measured when I say peculiar. So that's Pete Sullivan, who was on Periscope, and he does like walkarounds, and he does like these rants, and he does these audition things where he's talking about, oh, I got to prepare for this audition. So he's a working actor or a non-working actor, or a working actor struggling, sometimes working, sometimes going to auditions. Do we know who we're talking about? He also does this shower feature, which I thought was very bizarre, but it's a thing he does. He goes in the shower and then he talks. I mean, all you see is like his back. It's like, hee. But all right, it's your thing. Not that I go and watch it, but I just say, oh, okay, you've seen it once. You're good. You don't need to go back. So, have you seen these, Peter Sullivan? Either on Periscope or on Heckle. That would be a yes or no, or maybe? Because until I get the answer, I won't continue with the rest of my story. So maybe you're not interested in the rest of the story, but I'm waiting for an answer. So maybe we've gotten on with our day, and we're not on the screen, so it's not a real-time thing. But I got a big dinner. I got time here, so I'll be patient. And I'll see. Did I miss scroll? No, I haven't missed scrolled. So tofu, you can see, and. I see new comments. Oh my God, there's new comments. No, I'm just a regular viewer of Pete. I only just started. Okay. So he was on Periscope, and all right. So I described a little bit. He does it around Brooklyn. He walks around, and it's just him ranting. Well, I say ranting because there's ranting and there's ranting. He's not necessarily always the victim, but he's talking about everyday situational things, and it's kind of like some days it's interesting and some days it's the same old broken record. And the thing is that there was another viewer that would be always in the same time that I'd be on, and he's from Finland, and he's a nice guy. His name is Marcus. And you can tell that Peter considered Marcus a friend. But there's a peculiar dynamic there. He was also a viewer. So the thing is, Peter's complicated. Saying it lightly. And so it would be, occasionally it would be entertaining, and then, he might go off on some kind of thing, and then, okay, I'm out of here. And then Periscope died. And then Peter came back on Heckle, not immediately, but about a year in, and then, I've already seen the show, as it were, so I never went rushing back. But yesterday, Marcus, who I have not seen in years since Peter's broadcast, came into my broadcast because we followed each other on Twitter, and occasionally he would, like what you do. When I do a tweet of something and you agree with it, or you like it, or you think it's funny, you acknowledge it and you send me a something or other. And Marcus does that occasionally out of the blue. So he came into my broadcast like 2 hours in, out of the blue. So I was like, oh my God. And it was interesting because that very day, Peter had one of his episodes where he put in a clickbait, and we talked about this, I think. Why am I lonely? Oh yeah, because I'm an asshole. I love the title. So, of course, the people who could really appreciate the title are myself, because I have a history with, and Marcus. The problem is that Marcus doesn't have an iPhone. He only has Android. So I said, well, Heckle will be coming soon, but so I said, wait a minute. This is what I'm going to do. I got my other phone. I am going to replay Peter's broadcast for you because you don't have the app, and we can have a reaction, on the live. And that's what we did. And of course, we took the piss out of Peter on his broadcast because it's what Peter likes us to do. That's what he goes us into doing. He puts these on these in order to get reactions, and then it gets him going. So that was our thing when it worked. And then sometimes they would go to the dark side, and then we would just go away. So we kind of tore into Peter because he had it coming to him, because he went on about he was sitting in a special section of a public bus that is meant for the invalid and the elderly, and his excuse was because he has shopping. And he wouldn't give up his seat for a lady with a walker, an old lady. And in his mind, he was justified. And he went even further. He just went to town on his live on this this lady giving him the stink eye for being an asshole. It was hilarious. So Marcus and I are besides ourselves. He's sort of typing in his reactions, and I am doing a lot of facial stuff because I kind of know Marcus's stuff that'll get him going as well. So we exhaust that, and then we start reminiscing about Periscope, and we start talking about the old man on the roof and what an asshole he was for certain reasons, and then he's a complicated guy. And I'm getting a stupid message. Okay. Prism, there's always a delay. Okay. So so I realized that when you do something like you rebroadcast somebody's live, they might take offense to it, or other people might think, oh, that person's going to take offense to that because you shouldn't do that. But we know Peter. Peter knows us. And there were people that said, oh, now I'm going to tell on this Kandavu guy, even though he wasn't like saying anything during the broadcast. So that happened as well, where somebody thought they could stir the pot and do an end run around us and then go squeal and, did you see the broadcast? Or they on the team came down? I'm going, yeah, nice try. Go somewhere else and get your fun or whatever. So Peter didn't take the bait, as I knew he wouldn't. And then he also said, and I've been trying to get in touch with Marcus all day and he hasn't answered me back. Marcus works, I guess, in Finland, you know. So, and also, you know, when you give somebody access, like from all the way back to 2015, and you've kind of blocked them a couple of times, as one does, you know, you might want to say, I think I need a little bit of a buffer. Maybe I'll answer, maybe I won't, type of thing. Anyway, it's complicated. So we were having fun with that, but we're also reminiscing, like, you know, in that particular thing, you happened to be there, so I'm not sure why you're not up to speed with what was going on, because then we started with Peter, without Marcus there, but with Peter, we started talking about, I don't know if you knew that guy who did the tours in New York, Dutch Mass. I used to regularly participate in his broadcast until it dawned on me that he's an asshole. and then I stopped watching his, you know, so the thing is that Peter started a job as a guide for, and see that one of the things about Dutch Mass is being an asshole. He's a territorial asshole. He thinks like the whole town belongs to him, and if some other Periscope happens to be on his pitch or even crosses the street, they're violating him and they're stalking him, and it's like all this overreaction. It's like, get over yourself, Dutch Mass. And then Peter's going, yeah, and who's that fake journalist guy? And then he lives in LA and he pretends to work for a newspaper. It's like, oh, you mean Superficial Mike tends to travel? Because, yeah, I kind of got your number 2 Superficial Mike, because he's in New York now doing a lot of heckles, I think. So I just love taking the piss out of people who deserve having the piss taken with people who know exactly what we're talking about, and we can all like, yeah. So that's what happened a little bit. And the only sad part is Marcus wasn't there to play along, but there's always hope. You know, Marcus says, I think I'm going to get an iPhone. I'm aware of the story of the bus. Okay, yes. So Marcus was, he was like, we were laughing. We were taking the piss, and of course, you know, Peter doesn't get offended by this because it's meant to provoke some kind of, because it's what he gets his fuel from. And then sometimes he takes it a little too far. But up to now, he's been actually pretty, you know, better than some people that I had to mute and warn. I'm starting to feel full, but it's not a bad thing. You know, last time they put things in little takeaway containers, and I would not be shy to ask again for the same thing. So Stephen, are you still there? So yesterday, after I logged off with Marcus, I did a title heckle addressed to Peter, saying Marcus and I we're having fun at your expense. Here's my Twitter, and you can get my YouTube link. See for yourself. Let me know what you want. And then other people started, when an accident and people like rubbernecking, we started getting some rubberneckers in there that didn't belong. But that's okay, because they did not create any drama for their own amusement, because that's exactly what they were trying to do. They failed, because as I was saying earlier today, the French have a word for people like that. They call them arrivistes. Means they're late to the party. Okay. I was just checking, because sometimes if it's just Chris, I might kind of say things that are, like out of school. You got to be careful when you talk out of school, type of thing. So. You know what? I am full, but I have about 3/4 of this masala and 3/4 of this curry, and it's microwavable. And you know what? If the containers that they would put them in cost a little more, I don't mind paying for them. But the thing is that you can eat it cold too, like a bami bread, and put in it. Speak my mind. Well, that was the thing. What was so funny was that I was letting it rip with Marcus as the only guest in the room, and intrinsically I knew that I can speak my mind freely, and he was like coming back like we was on the same wavelength about what was funny, what was like yikes, and it was like, and then it's a reminder of what a bummer that Periscope had to die and take that really cool community along with it. That's what hit home to all of the people that were on the platform back in the day. We still miss it, even Chris, you're one. Stephen, I don't know how affected you were by Periscope as such, but it was one of the highlights of using the internet and social media, where it wasn't all assholes. There were actually cool people, global cool people that you could keep. And it's never been really replaced as such since. And so that's why people are still holding a torch for it to come back. So, luckily, I don't know if there was like any meat protein in my meal, if I would like all of a sudden have a crash, after having filled my belly as such. But because it's vegetarian, and I did like have a big carbohydrate load of the Singapore noodles, I'm beginning to like the metabolism is slowing down in my digestive, and you can probably even tell in the cadence of my speech that it's affecting me, but it's not a negative thing. It's probably a good thing. It's one's digestive process, I guess. But it literally is like almost instantaneous. So yeah, interesting at that. It's kind of strange though. There are still other live stream platforms, but they don't seem to say. Yes, no, the community is basically what was the cool part about Periscope, and you know, the ratio of assholes to keepers and the ability to steer assholes out the door and have the keepers like not get knee deep in drama and crap and off their script, as it were. So yeah, other ones don't. I mean, I think there's very few people that have been able to transcend. You know, I think one of them is The Flash, right? Because he's on Twitch and his show is still ongoing on Twitch, and all those people, I guess, are always there. I mean, The Flash is like gonna go forever and ever and ever. It's like, you know, he's gonna be some artificial AI version of himself, and he's never gonna stop. So, so there's that. Apart from that, I don't know who else would have transcended. Yeah, I think it's pretty funny because I think there's a certain truth in what I just said. The Flash is gonna always be on, and I like the idea of that. I mean, I would hate the idea that, you know, the light's gone and you'll never see him again. You did sign up to Twitch just, okay, point taken. And I didn't even know that. So yeah, it's a state of mind. You know, as long as I know that the Flash, I can access him, I'm okay. But if you're told, no, he's gone and he disappeared, I'm going, oh, darn it. There goes another one type of thing. So yeah. So I think I do follow him on, but I hardly go on Twitch much, but I have it in case I do want to. So, oh, by the way, I had a conversation with the husband of Anna, and he said I didn't want to take a bus to Da Nang because it's like 1,000 kilometers. I guess I can't do like geography as well either, because Vienna is a kind of strange country. He says it's easier to fly into Da Nang. They have the international airport and you get into the city really simple. And you know, I was saying, yeah, but I'm all flown out type of thing. But yeah, no, you should fly. So unfortunately, none of the two places that I stayed the last time in Da Nang were available. They only had like girls accommodations, but they didn't have mixed accommodations. So I couldn't go to the Memory, which was this really cool, narrow architect's kind of whimsy of a place that I really liked a lot. And then there's another place, the first one I went to, called the Lighthouse, which was right on the beach. Like when I rented the motorbike the first day, and then we went down to the beach and walked. That was from the Lighthouse, and I think I had only booked 2 days, and by the third day when I wanted to extend, they said, sorry, we're all booked. So that's how I found the Memory. So now I'm going to the Kon-Tiki instead. So, but it's should one night, and I thought, well, I wanted to go to Hoi An for a couple of nights, but Hoi An doesn't have an airport. So we had to reverse it. So I'm going to Da Nang for one night, and then I'm going to book maybe 2 nights in Hoi An, and then figure out what I need to do after Hoi An. So there's that. So I went to the Ben Thanh market. There's a place right in front of it where you get the best exchange rates. And what I'm trying to say. Oh yeah, so I exchanged some cash for funds and stuff, which is good because it's a no-brainer. And in terms of like, you know, you can either withdraw money from an ATM, or you can use the cash that you brought already and then incrementally convert it into, you know, spendable income. So that's what I chose to do today. And so I booked a ticket, and I'm hoping proper kilogram. I bought 30 kilograms of chicken, but you're only allowed 7 on carry-on, but I think you can kind of cheat. So I'm hoping that, I've got a scale that I'm going to use and max up my check-in just to make sure that I don't get fined for having my carry-on overweight type of thing. So we'll see, because I could like have my day bag as my personal bag, because there's a carry-on and a personal bag, and this day bag, when it's strapped behind me and I'm at the check-in desk, has kind of not, called attention to itself. So we'll see. And I'm not leaving the country. That's another thing. I think that was the one of the issues where the guy thought I'm going to be a dick because he might not be coming back. So I have all of that. I already have my things packed as such, but I might need to redistribute tomorrow. And my flight only leaves at 6 in the evening, so it's not a big deal. I've got time. At first I heard chicken. Oh, 30 kilograms of check-in. Yeah, sorry. I might have check-in. Yeah. It could have been, dry lips or dry teeth. Chicken. Yeah, it does sound like chicken, right? It's the proper inflection. Check in. There. You just have to inflect. So yes, Pedro was a big help earlier because there was like something on the soundtrack, and it was loud in my ears. And I was talking to Pedro, and I was saying, is it really true? Is it about 75% of what's around here going into the audio, and you're only getting like 25% of that? Because I'm getting a lot more than 25% in my ear. And he pretty well agreed, and so did Steven. I think Steven also agreed. So that pleases me to no end. Really, the Rode mic is such a gift. Yes, so Da Nang, Little Miss Mosquito Coil wanted to know if I was going back to Monkey Mountain. That is like a 2-hour thing, so that's quickly done, but I can't do it if I arrive at 8 in the evening, so I'll have to do it. It might be not possible. Like I might actually have to go back to Da Nang from Hoi An and then do it. There could be that. So guys, 30 Helens agree. The running is a godsend. I see. I'm not sure what that reference is, but I'll take it. So yeah, when you show the front-facing camera, it shows up backwards, or so I'm told. So yes, so I was telling Stephen to use the web address to have a word about the straw. I hope you get that reference. Chris, I don't. Oh, 30 Helens. Okay, but wait. I thought it would be how many Daves do you know? Because I don't know if I know the 30 Helens, but I know the how many Daves do you know? And then there's this whole song, and then of course Dave Foley happens to be amongst the Daves they know. What's nice is that Kids in the Hall are available, I think, on YouTube on replay. So I'll keep that in mind, because there's that whole touch with a pole, like a 10-foot pole. I can't remember his name, but he's got like an Albanian name or something like that. The guy in the bathrobe, Paul Bellini. there was a contest to touch Paul Bellini with a stick or something. You've been on Amazon Prime. Okay, so you get the quality rebroadcasts. Yes. Did you see the latest? They had it was like last winter in the COVID, and there was like this. Yeah, Paul Bellini. There was this. There were a couple of them that like dropped trow. They were like in full middle-aged display, and I guess it was for the bit, for the laughs, the comedy. And I thought, oh my God, that's pretty brave. Yeah, you saw the ones they did last year. Okay, so yeah, but I mean, there was much more to that, and I think they got it out of the way really early on. So it wasn't all this like awkward, it's like, I don't know. But yeah, I guess it just kind of like, hey, like what new can we bring, right? And it's weird because you can keep like digging them out of the mothballs, and they're still gonna bring it. And I like that. I like the fact that they're not done. There's still some some funny there. And I got the music playing, dun, 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 dun. And then all those little like suburban Toronto neighborhoods that flash on the screen, and it's like, oh wow, what a wonderful, like, I'm hoping you didn't lose your shoes on this trip. I did ditch a pair of shoes but I didn't lose them, I ditched them. I did forget them, and then I made a point to get them back because, you dance with the one you brought, right? And so if I brought them, my intention was I'm going to bring them back. But then I was looking at their condition and all the trouble that went into, like, they were put aside, and I would show up a couple of days later, and as a thank you, I went to a supermarket and I bought some dried herbs and stuff as a thank you. But then when I had that issue with the weight and stuff, I'm going, well, do I really need this extra weight and with these shoes? And so I threw them away. But no, I still have the wonderful Converse All-Star black and white shoes that I bought in Hanoi in a boutique, and I think they were about $70 US. So they were pricey, but they're worth it. I've been wearing them every day, and I need the flat Converse shoe. I have a foot made for that type of shoe, and I'm sure-footed on them. Hey, it's Billy! No, it can't be. It's Billy. Oh, Billy! I don't know if you remember that scene from The Cable Guy, who's channeling that scene from Midnight Express. But that's what that's from. And whenever I see It's Billy, and I haven't seen It's Billy in like 2 years. So no, I ditched, and I thought that was Chris asking the question. And then I just thought, no, it's Billy. Vive la Couche-Tard, yes, The Cable Guy, yes. Oh, Billy. Yeah, it gets me every time. What a surprise to see you here. My God. So I assume maybe like the bat signal went on Twitter, because like my YouTube is kind of just new-ish, and when you have a video page, that's not your live page, so you need to like go into the live. So if you have the live link on somebody's Twitter bat signal, that's how they come. I'm assuming that's how you came, because I don't see any other way that you be following me, because I haven't seen you in God knows for how long. And it's like we have been reconnecting with so many of our Periscope pals that we've come to a realization that Periscope community is not dead. It's just in waiting until something along those same lines comes back. But we're still there, and we're still there with all the funnies and all the, all the people that get along, and all the people that we love to hate, and all that. It's been, and I was thinking about our good friend, the musician, because that's where I know you from. And then, like, I'm like a sideshow type of thing, based on the Couche-Tard running joke. But is he still broadcasting? Because he's had his issues with his physical challenges and stuff. And I think, in a way, when he was like doing a daily broadcast or a weekly broadcast or 3 weekly broadcasts, it was like a raison d'être, like a reason to live and a reason to get up in the day and to just keep going. And when you took that away, Jack, yes, you take that away, it's like, what happened to Jack? Because I would like to think that he's still playing and jamming and holding court on his show and having that Nova Scotia weather guy come in for an interview every 2 weeks or so. I wonder, because I got a sense that Jack is very selective as to the types of meetups he will agree to, and I don't think he's a meetup person, so I never really pressed the issue, because you kind of can read the tea leaves, He is funding to build a new computer. Okay. Yeah, because he needs, Frankie McDonald, thank you. Be prepared, because I channel that be prepared thing, because it's a running trope in my life, like, be prepared. And it echoes. Couche-Tard. But yeah, that's your thing. I remember in old Montreal, and you're going, where's the Couche-Tard? And there was one, actually. So yeah, Frankie is on, he's really active on Twitter, but he's really like a one-note thing, like, look at me, how many people like me in the United States, look at me doing this, look at me doing that, look at this photo of somebody and me. It's just like, okay, narcissism, get the memo. I've stepped back a bit from the Bass Guy show. I've been struggling mentally. Well, that's pretty honest, and I don't see how the Bass Guy show could aggravate one's, in fact, it could alleviate from the way that, the Bass Guy was, that there was no drama in his show, and it was just like music, and then, and he wasn't a depressing guy, even if he had issues, like he could make making spaghetti fun. So I don't see you getting depressed over him making spaghetti, or the cat. Trying to remember the neighbor's cat, Scarlet, and then the little window shots and all of these little inserts and stuff. I really love that show. But thank you for sharing about stuff. And everybody goes through stuff, and we all have all our own way of how we process things and stuff. And I appreciate you. I guess you feel that you can actually put it out there, and good times. Yeah. So I'm going through some body betrayal stuff that I'm kind of. I think I've come to when people are like, oh, there's a problem, okay, I'm going to try and fix it. I kind of am taking that approach. And sometimes, no, you don't fix it, you just listen, right? So in this case, it's a bit of both. I think I haven't been hydrating enough. And what that did is it created a situation in my legs, in my quads, where I misstepped down some stairs, and I had a type of a spasm like an overreaction spasm to brace my fall, and ended up straining or tearing some tendons or muscles. Extreme pain, crumpled underneath my leg. First time I hit my head, in fact, people woke me up out of unconsciousness. And it took like several people to lift me into, okay, well, it's never happened to me before. And the realization is, oh, my body betrayed me. And how did that happen? And I'm thinking, wait a minute, this has never happened to me in any way, shape, or form, even close, ever. So I'm thinking, what's going on? And as, you know, like things filter and you go, oh, maybe, you know, you just haven't been, because you're not, this is not Kansas anymore. You're in Asia. It's hot. And I'm peeing a lot more than I normally pee. And it probably has to do with your metabolism is adapted to your environment, and you just need to keep replenishing. And I wasn't doing it enough, and it manifested itself into the left leg doing a weird thing. I ended up having to go get some expensive CT scan for where I hit my head, and an x-ray on my femur to make sure it wasn't broken. Luckily it came back normal. So it was just like a muscular thing. They prescribed me painkillers, and to the tune of 12 million dong, which, you know, I should process with the insurance that I have when I get back. Could it be also potassium? Well, it might be. You know, like you're. Let's say if I've been eating a lot of beef. So let's say if beef and MSG kind of like are a thing, you know, to tenderize it, and because it's just to like get a consistency and whatever, like I don't know if it's like more MSG and lack of hydration, but I'm thinking it's along those lines. So I've just been a lot more mindful about just like keep hydrating, and I haven't had a reoccurrence except 3 days ago. I'm in a bus station. I made a new friend. We're going to this rural part of Vietnam, and we're talking, and then there's this little step. It's about that big, and on my right leg, it doesn't see it, and then I overcorrect, and guess what? I tear again in the same spot, but on the opposite leg, same pain. I crumple, I break out in a sweat like I did the other one, but it wasn't as extreme, and 3 people had to physically pick me up and put me in a chair. I'm going, where is this betrayal coming from? Why didn't I get a memo? So it's really like, you know, like seismic. It's like so I'm just going on about it because it's still fresh, and I still haven't like completely processed it, but pretty well. I'm thinking it's gotta be, because there's no way you get muscular stuff without some kind of like hydration issue, and that's the only thing I can put my finger on that I can do something about. So potassium, well, the thing is that, you know, if you're on a diuretic, like I used to know this lady who would like try anything to maintain a certain, you know, voluptuousness without like getting too, you know, but she was a little Marilyn-ish, all right? And the thing is that there was this stupid asshole client who is a doctor, an Asian doctor, Dr. Chan, yes, I'm naming you. And he said, I've got the next best thing. It's like an herbal tea, and you will lose weight. And so she signed on, and she like went to town, and she kept going. And what happened is she lost all the potassium, and she shriveled up. Like she went from voluptuous to like a prune in a couple of months. And you can't like rehydrate back. It's like that voluptuousness went away. And thank you, Dr. Chan. And also, you know, like, you know, you make a deal with the devil, and you get what you pay for type of thing. So yeah, I know the dangers. Like, you know, Okay, I haven't eaten like bananas a lot, but I've been eating a lot of fruit. I've been eating a lot of fresh vegetables. The only thing I can think of that's an additive that could be a negative would be MSG. So does MSG deplete like your potassium in your body? Because I'm not taking a diuretic. But thanks for the question. I will take it under consideration. Well, I'm going to see my GP when I get back, and hopefully we'll get some answers. But at this point, I'm just going to keep hydrating. Like on a regular basis, and hopefully I won't have another. You know, it's weird. It's always like this descending step. So I'll have pain if I bend my knees to sit in a chair, or I need to get up and I need to straighten my knees, or if I have to go down a step. There's a very special old man way I have of navigating steps. So I ain't going any hiking trips or excursions on this particular vacation. But luckily, it's not going backwards, you know. I've had enough. And I'm still eating well and hydrating. And yeah, apart from that, I just never had something like this. And I'm feeling betrayed. And I don't know why. But I'm on vacation, so I'm just gonna make the best of it. I'll try to add some bananas. Maybe it's potassium, because I know I haven't eaten any bananas at all. And they do grow really nice bananas here, all kinds, short ones, long ones, whatever. And they put them in smoothies. They put them with pineapple. You can get stuff, and I've been going with passion fruit and other types of mango and other stuff. So, but yeah, I'll go for the banana just for, because they are chock full of potassium. And I'm thinking of Nancy, who went with that Chinese herbal tea, and I mean she had a nice poitrine, as they say. And they were like Marilyn Monroe-ish, and it just went all like scary, really scary. So live and learn, and yeah, may you burn in hell, Dr. Chan. Chris sometimes says I can hold a grudge. Yes, I can. When it's deserved. Okay, so who's still here? Because I am thinking that, yeah, I am talking. I am talking about. Well, we're just. I think they were wondering why I was talking to my phone and stuff. But okay, Chris is there. Okay, thank you, Chris. And I assume Billy is still there. But thank you for the nice suggestion. I will, I can only try, and yeah, I don't want to turn into Nancy after her herbal thing, but something happened to my quads on both legs on different occasions within like a couple of weeks, and it probably has to do with the environmental conditions and how much hydrating I'm doing. So apart from that, maybe my GP will have some answers, because I'm hoping it's not, you've got some weird cancer that makes your muscles like tear really easy, and it's only like in your later years in life, and you got 6 months to live. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I better get my affairs in order then, shouldn't I? Hydrate. That's another thing. Here, I am welcome. I am welcome to live stream. That means you guys are welcome. Well, yeah, it's extremely rare, and it only comes late in life. And you won the lottery. Yeah. I'm just grasping at straws, because I got nothing. No answers other than just drink your water and order some more. So Da Nang and maybe Little Miss Mosquito Coil will get Monkey Mountain like after I finish Hoi An. We'll see. I'm not making promises, but it's nice when you get requests, like, you know, out of the blue. And I'm thinking, so I remember when I went to Monkey Mountain, I think I was overcharged on a popsicle. I think the roadside, like, little trolley guy, I think he charged me 30,000 dong for one of those, and you can get like a Coke for 15. So I'm thinking, wait a minute. So guys, I think we're going to terminate the broadcast for the evening because I need to get a doggy bag and other stuff out of the way. But I do want to thank you for coming in. It's been like fantastic. So other than that, I don't know what else to say other than hydrate.